breaking down the Vikings from the perspective of a former NFL General Manager of the Year. It's Jeff Diamond's Purple Report, presented by your select Minnesota Buick GMC dealers.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Jeff Diamond's post-Thanksgiving Purple Report, brought to you today and every Monday during the Vikings season by your select Minnesota Buick GMC dealers on 1500 ESPN and available 24/7 on YouTube via links from the 1500 ESPN and Score North websites. I'm Jeff Diamond, former Vikings GM, former Tennessee Titans president. AJ Fredrickson is our producer today and does a great job getting all of our clips together, putting the show together. AJ, how you doing? How's your Thanksgiving?
It was pretty good. I got enough to eat, clearly, if you look at me. But no, it was fun to kind of take a load off, relax, and most importantly, cap the night off with a little dessert with that nice Vikings win.
Yeah, definitely. That was a lot of fun. And first Thanksgiving day or evening game the Vikings have ever hosted in their history. Have played in a lot of Thanksgiving games, and I was involved with a lot of those Thanksgiving games during my career, traveling to Detroit. I always liked playing in Detroit because then we'd get back home for dinner that night, more so than Dallas, although we had family in Dallas, so sometimes we played down there. Had some good wins on Thanksgiving, had a couple of tough losses too, but always a lot of fun to play on Thanksgiving. Then you get that nice little mini bye afterwards.
Ooh, yes.
So the team can get a little extra healthy, and you get an extra weekend off if you're a team exec, so that was always good back in the day. But certainly coming out of the Patriots game on Thursday night, I was struck with this thought, AJ. Is this the most exciting Vikings regular season in history? And we're talking going back to 1961. And I was thinking about that, and honestly, I'm inclined to say yes. And I've seen a lot of exciting regular seasons and a lot of playoff trips and a lot of division titles during my 23 years with the Vikings. But this particular season, with all the drama, all the twists and turns, the 6 come-from-behind victories in the fourth quarter, the overtime wins, and just how it's all unfolded, and the spectacular play of Justin Jefferson, Kirk Cousins, some of his ups and downs, mostly ups, having a really good season overall, especially with the winning record. The defense bending a lot, but I guess you can say not necessarily breaking, even though they're now ranked 32nd in the league, dead last against the pass after Mac Jones throws for 382 against them for the Patriots. It's been a crazy season, and such an exciting season with these come-from-behind wins, and 8-0 now in one-score games. So I answer that question by saying yes. Now, I know you haven't seen quite as much Vikings football as I have, and this is only regular season. Mm-hmm. We have to qualify it by saying that because the story of this season will obviously be told in what happens down the stretch in the playoffs, and can they hold on to the number 2 seed? They have a 2-game lead on San Francisco right now going into these last 6 games. And can they have success in the playoffs? Certainly having home field advantage is huge. And I thought it was interesting, some of the Vikings players saying after the game that the Thursday night, Thanksgiving night game, the loudest they've ever heard U.S. Bank Stadium, which is hard to believe considering the Minneapolis Miracle and some of the other games that have taken place there. But be it as it may, certainly exciting times. And I think this team has been just exciting to watch and a lot of fun to watch this year. But I'll ask you the question, is this the most exciting regular season you've seen so far?
Easily, yeah. Like you said, I haven't watched as many regular seasons as you have or participated in, but easily this is by far the most exciting. It seems like every single week I'm on the edge of my seat. It's the old like, oh, you can bring your whole seat, but you're only going to need a sliver of it, that edge. So I just hope, my one thing about it is when everything is all said and done, I really hope we aren't talking about the regular season was so much fun, and that's it. I don't want it to stop there. I want it to keep going in the postseason. I don't want the lasting memories to be all. You remember all those regular season awesome moments? I want some postseason moments, Jeff.
Yeah, exactly. We'd like the Buffalo and New England games to be surpassed by a playoff win, maybe over Philadelphia to go to the Super Bowl, for example. So we'll see how it all shakes out. A lot of exciting games ahead. Starting this week, the New York Jets, a very surprising 7-4 team, not expected to be in the playoff hunt coming into the season. Now they're sitting in a playoff spot in the AFC, have moved ahead of New England. And so it's certainly a big game coming up. The Jets coming off a big 31-10 win over the Bears. on a rainy day in the Meadowlands, a game in which Mike White stepped in for the benched Zach Wilson, the number 2 overall pick last year. Yeah. Mike White, journeyman quarterback, steps in, throws for 315 and 3 touchdowns. And all of a sudden, there's new life in that Jets locker room, and especially with the offense. The defense has been good all season, but offensively, they definitely woke up on Sunday, although you have to factor in that Justin Fields did not play for the Bears. So going back to the Patriots game, let's take a look at some of the highlights. I know we're a few days past the game, but it was such an exciting game. I think it's still fun to look at some of these great highlights from the game. And let's start out with who else? Justin Jefferson, another phenomenal game, a day on which he broke Randy Moss's NFL record for most receiving yards in a player's first 3 seasons. And JJ is now at 4,248 yards. I think he's 1 yard behind Tyreek Hill for the league lead in receiving yards, but he's certainly having an all-pro season. We know that. And he culminated the first drive. Again, kind of the formula the Vikings have had all year, scoring on that first drive 7 times in 11 games. Did it again on Thursday night against the Patriots. It's kind of been the winning formula, get off to a good start and then kind of hang on and come from behind at the end and make some big plays down the stretch, which they did. But Justin Jefferson on this first touchdown reception from Kirk Cousins.
A little more up-tempo here again, Mike.
Yeah, they stay on the field, 3rd and 2. 5 in the pattern, and Cousins throws. It's caught for the touchdown by Jefferson.
And certainly an important first touchdown on the opening drive to kind of recover, rebound, shall we say, from the Dallas loss, the fiasco against the Cowboys the previous week when they only scored 3 points. This was a totally different Vikings team this week. I think that Dallas game, shall we say, an anomaly on the season, coming off that really breathtaking Buffalo game, and then you go into a game against Dallas, who you would think the team would be psyched up for, which I'm sure they were, but it just got off to a bad start. Things snowballed in that game, and they were playing a very good team. But in this particular case, getting off to that good start, very important in the ball game. As I said, with Jefferson getting that first touchdown reception. JJ later in the second quarter made a terrific catch downfield, beating double coverage, split the double coverage. Bill Belichick, we know, is a coach, one of the all-time greats, who is going to try to take away the other team's best player. I thought that was one of the exceptional things that Jefferson and Cousins and O'Connell were able to cook up in this game to free up JJ through motions, through lining up in the backfield, through all the things that they did to get him free to make plays. But he also had to beat double coverage on several occasions, made a big 37-yard catch to set up this touchdown pass on nice play action to T.J. Hawkinson.
Let's see if Dalvin can punch it in here. 3rd and goal. It's a fake, and Cousins flips it to Hawkinson. Touchdown, Minnesota.
T.J. Hawkinson continues to be a big factor for this team. I still can't believe Detroit traded him here for not getting a first-round pick in return, but he's a guy that is a difference maker. He had 5 more catches for 43 yards in that touchdown this game, and he now has 26 receptions in his first 4 games here after the trade. It's the most catches in NFL history by a tight end in his first 4 games with a team. So he is impressive, and he's made a nice addition to that Vikings offense and helped, obviously, Cousins, Thielen, Jefferson, K.J. Osborne, and company. So as the half continued and the Vikings go back and forth with the Patriots, they're 16-16 at the half. Tight game, as usual. Second quarter or third quarter comes in. Immediately, the Patriots come out first drive and put up a touchdown. Pass rush is not getting home on Mac Jones. He's got too much time to throw. It's been an issue in terms of some of the sporadic pass rush the Vikings have had, especially the last couple weeks, and particularly when they don't have any takeaways, which they haven't had in these last 2 games, makes it a little more difficult defensively. But following up that touchdown pass, the special teams came through with a humongous play, and we've kind of been waiting all year for Kene Nwangwu, who had 2 touchdown returns last year, to make his mark and get in the end zone, and sure enough, here it happened at a big moment to tie the game.
U.S. Bank Stadium. Beautiful stadium, one of my favorites in the league. Now open for its 7th year. Clay Wanwu will take it back for the 4. Patriots doing a good job, but Wanwu gets free down the sideline. He's in bounds. He's going. Wanwu 30, 20. He will score.
Yeah, a couple great blocks on the play. C.J. Ham almost got a little hold in there, but not detected by the refs, fortunately. And also Josh Metellus with a really good block on that particular return, tied the game at 23.
And if I can interject right there, one of the biggest things that always every Sunday throws me off, and in this case Thursday, on a play like that, the yellow gloves that every player is wearing, I think they're all flags. I think they're all flags. And I had about 7 heart attacks. It's like, oh, no, that's a hand. Oh, that's a hand. Oh, we're good. We're good. Such a good play. And like you said, a special teams making a very special play to help get the momentum back in the Vikings' favor.
Yeah, definitely true. And yeah, you always see those gloves on the field. Like, oh, no, it's a glove. That's a good thing. Patriots were able to take the lead, and Vikings responded with a Joseph field goal, tied the game. Again, Craig Joseph, wow, misses an extra point in this ball game earlier in the game. It was actually earlier in the ball game. He missed the extra point. It's his 5th missed extra point this year, which is just incredible to me on a guy who was 15 for 15 on field goals inside of 50 yards, that he's missed 5 PATs from basically a 35-yard field goal is what it is. So, but it hasn't hurt them yet, but it's not something they want to see come playoff time, certainly. Special teams, again, made a huge play as we got into the 4th quarter and tie game. And Ryan Wright, who's having a really excellent rookie season, averaged 52 yards a kick in this game, 3 kicks inside the 20. And in this particular case, he was able to keep a drive alive with a running into the kicker penalty to get a first down on the game-winning drive. That was a huge, huge play in the ball game. And then the next big play, again, Justin Jefferson, a terrific 36-yard catch in traffic, getting blasted, as he said, by Devin McCourty, the Patriots' great safety, veteran safety. All day, Jefferson was battling with Jonathan Jones, the Patriots' best corner. What a day he had, and here was a great play.
Cousins back to the air as he throws downfield. It's hanging in the air, but it's caught by Jefferson again. This dude is unreal.
So before we get into the culmination of this game, let's talk about our great sponsor, the Select Minnesota Buick GMC dealers. And it's time to visit your Select Minnesota GMC dealers and hit the turf in a truck that's designed to tackle the toughest proving grounds. That's the GMC Sierra SLE. It's bold, precise, and capable. Sierra comes standard with a 2.7-liter turbo high-output engine, delivering 310 horsepower and 430 pound-feet of torque. Or call a winning play with an available 3.0-liter Duramax turbo diesel engine with a 10-speed automatic transmission. And when it comes to comfort and refinement, climb in to discover the convenience of the standard 13.4-inch diagonal center touchscreen. And don't forget, Sierra is truly the MVP with the world's first available 6-function multi-pro tailgate. It's time to step up to professional grade and test drive a new GMC Sierra SLE today. Available now at your Select Minnesota GMC dealers, or visit online at TwinCitiesBuickGMC.com. So, as we mentioned, that great 36-yard catch by Justin Jefferson, I want to talk for a second about the toughness of Jefferson. The way he's able to hold on to these balls, as we just saw with McCourty getting ready to hammer him in double coverage on that catch. So often a receiver the ball get dislodged. He is just so strong and tough and savvy and knows how to secure the catch so quickly. We saw that in that unbelievable catch in Buffalo. We saw it in the first half of this game against New England, and again on that play by McCourty where he holds on. And also the toughness of his receiving partner, Adam Thielen. Adam had a great game, also 9 catches in this ball game, and we're going to see his winning touchdown in a second. But the toughness of Adam Thielen, in the first half, he hurts his knee momentarily, hobbles off the field, comes back and plays. In the second half, he takes a spear to his neck and back area, vicious hit, which is flagged for 15 yards on the play. And Adam stays in the ball game, comes back. The toughness of these two receivers is just, I think, off the charts, and a big element. I think it rubs off on all the players on the football team, especially the younger players, when they see these guys that hang in there. So, as we said, JJ, with that great 36-yard catch, sets up the Vikings at the New England 13-yard line. I'd say about 8 minutes to go in the ball game. And here's Kirk Cousins on a terrific play. Kevin O'Connell talked about it. They were waiting for this special look by New England's defense where they thought that they would foul Jefferson across the field. It's a dual crossing route between Jefferson and Thielen, and Cousins needs time to throw. And the offensive line did a great job protecting him on this play, and really predominantly in this ball game, one of their best outings, I thought, of the season, even without Christian Darrisaw in the lineup. So here is the winning touchdown to Adam Thielen.
To deal with coverage. And the Vikings are the beneficiaries. Cousins looking. Jefferson was covered. Other side, Thielen! Touchdown! Minnesota! Back on top!
A terrific play, terrific design. As I said, offensive line protecting Kirk, giving him time to make that play. Kirk Cousins on the day, 299 yards passing, 3 touchdowns, had the 1 interception early, had a couple of other near picks in the ball game, which gives some credit to Jefferson for breaking up one of those plays, and KJ Osborne made a great catch again in that fourth quarter on an out ball that could have been picked off and could have been disastrous, and he was able to steal the ball away from the defender. So overall, a really excellent day for Cousins. I thought it was interesting after the game to hear Bill Belichick giving Kirk Cousins very high praise and just saying made all the checks, all the right reads, and a really good player. Just high praise coming from one of the great coaches of all time. Finally, as the game unfolded, as we know, it was kind of getting a little hairy down the stretch, and the Patriots have the ball, a couple series, and finally the Vikings pass rush shows up. Daniil Hunter had a big sack on the second to last series. I thought the Vikings got a little lucky on when the Patriots had their chance on that second to last series when Aguilar had beaten Chandon Sullivan with a little bit of a push-off, and the ball was just slightly overthrown. And then as the game unfolded at the end, Ryan Wright sticks a punt down inside the 20 again. A little risky punting to Marcus Jones, who had a winning punt return the previous week. But it worked out okay, especially after Ross Blacklock made this sack.
89 yards, 53 seconds, no timeouts. Jones in trouble, sacked, not a safety. At the 1, but receivers are 30 yards away. This will take 15 seconds.
As we said, a big play when it was needed. Another kind of under-the-radar play by Patrick Peterson on that last drive. He keeps the receiver born inbounds to run the clock down. So the Vikings come out with a big win, move to 9-2 on the season, and amazingly, they can clinch the NFC North on Sunday with a win over the Jets, combined with a loss by Detroit at home against Jacksonville. You would have said, nah, that's not going to happen. But the Jags knocked off the Ravens yesterday in one of the big upsets of the day. And Trevor Lawrence threw for over 300 yards against a usually pretty good Baltimore defense. So perhaps Jacksonville could come in there and get it done. If the Vikings don't clinch this week, they go to Detroit next week with an opportunity to clinch the division against the Lions. So a lot of good stuff ahead for this football team. A lot of exciting times. And as we said, the New York Jets come to town this week. A team that coming off that big win over the Chicago Bears. Let's hear a little bit from some of the principals involved, and in particular, Coach Kevin O'Connell and his thoughts on where the Vikings sit right now.
I know sometimes I stand up here and talk about things like culture. I talk about our locker room, in my opinion, being one of the most connected, close-knit groups in the entire National Football League that I've been around. And I think sometimes people shrug their shoulders or shake their head. Yeah, that's not going to matter. Well, on 4 days' time to turn around after, a loss that, could leave a lot of teams searching. you know what our guys searched for? They just wanted to show back up to work, and on a short week prepare. Our coaching staff put together a great plan, and they came out here and had a ton of energy. I give Tyler Williams and Uriah a great deal of credit for getting our guys turned over. How we prepare is an important part of it. But really, my goal here is just to have our organization ready to put it all together. Even when people don't give us a chance or when adversity hits, that's when I happen to believe that our team and the best parts of our team come out. And I think that will continue to serve us well while we continue to improve as a football team this year.
And Justin Jefferson, star of the day once again, talking about the game.
I mean, just coming off of last week, the blowout, we didn't like the way we played. We didn't like the way things went. Going into this game, we just forced having more energy coming out and just doing what we're supposed to do. We feel like every time we execute, we do good. The only time we do bad is when we hurt ourselves. So it's just all about just executing the plays and focusing up.
You got that 3-year record, most yards of any receiver in NFL history. What does that mean to you?
It means a lot. It means that my course of reaching to the Hall of Fame is near. I'm just going to keep working, doing whatever it takes to make plays for this team. I love this team. I'll do anything for it. When that ball is in the air, it's mine.
Yeah, Justin, your course to the Hall of Fame is not near because hopefully you're going to play about 10 more years, and then you got to wait 5 years to get into the Hall of Fame. So that's 15 years. So not quite near, but you're certainly on path, shall we say, because after surpassing players like Randy Moss, you're in the conversation definitely earlier in your career. So a phenomenal job by Justin in this particular ball game. He's, as I've said repeatedly this year, I think he's not only the best receiver in the game right now, I think he might be the second best player in the game right now behind Patrick Mahomes at any position. He's just having such a great year. And so Kirk Cousins also talking about the win and talking about where the Vikings stand here heading into this matchup with the Jets.
Just so many people to really be grateful for in the way they contributed tonight. Obviously, the kickoff return, the whole unit, it was an unbelievable return that really made a difference in the game. I think they might have drawn that one up at halftime, so halftime was pretty productive. And, our defense holding them in the red zone to field goals had a huge impact on the game. Their ability to get off the field on third down, they really kept us in it. And then, we had a lot of long drives and sustained drives and, found a way to get more explosive today, which I think was important to get more explosive plays. It was a bit of a challenge throughout the game to be aware of how much they were trying to, really take Justin out of the game and then how much they were still going to give us opportunities to get in the football. I thought our coaches and Kevin did a great job with the plan all week, but then executing the plan or calling the game, to give us a great chance to have success.
Yeah, Kirk mentioned the defense in particular and their red zone defense, which was impressive in this game, holding the Patriots to 0 for 3 on red zone touchdowns, which has been a problem this year. The Vikings winning the game ranked last in the league in that category. So that was a positive in the game. The negative, too many yards given up, as we know, too many intermediate routes, and they're going to have to tighten up a little bit as they head into this Jets game. Let's talk again about the Select Minnesota Buick GMC dealers, our great sponsor. It's time to visit your Select Minnesota GMC dealers and hit the turf in a truck that's designed to tackle the toughest proving grounds. That's the GMC Sierra SLE. It's bold, precise, and capable. Sierra comes standard with a 2.7-liter turbo high-output engine, delivering 310 horsepower and 430 pound-feet of torque. Or call a winning play with an available 3.0-liter Duramax turbo diesel engine with a 10-speed automatic transmission. And when it comes to comfort and refinement, climb in and discover the convenience of the standard 13.4-inch diagonal center touchscreen. And don't forget, Sierra is truly the MVP with the world's first available 6-function multi-pro tailgate. It's time to step up to professional grade and test drive a new GMC Sierra SLE today. Available now at your Select Minnesota GMC dealers or online at TwinCitiesBuickGMC.com. Going around the NFL real quick. We mentioned the Jets knocking off the Bears 31-10. No Justin Fields in the ballgame. That makes a huge difference for Chicago. Mike White for the Jets in for the benched Zach Wilson, threw for 315 yards and 3 touchdowns. He will come to U.S. Bank Stadium with an old Viking friend, Tyler Conklin, his tight end, who's been very effective in the Jets offense. 38 catches, went there as a free agent this past offseason. And the Vikings are going to have to keep an eye on him. Hunter Henry of the Patriots hurt them a little bit in that game. Hurt them a lot. 3 catches, 63 yards, and a touchdown for New England. So I'm sure that the Jets will try to design some plays for Tyler Conklin on those intermediate routes and try to get him open. That'll be a challenge. And Garrett Wilson, the Jets' first-round pick, is a game-breaking receiver, excellent player. He had 5 catches, 95 yards, 2 touchdowns in this game against the Bears. And you're talking about Mike White and Garrett Wilson having a big day in a steady rain in the Meadowlands. It was an ugly day there. So I'm sure they're kind of excited to be able to play indoors in good weather this week, perhaps. And we'll see how it turns out. I think, obviously, the crowd may have a big impact on this ball game if they can get Mike White rattled as a guy who's got 2 career starts. Hopefully generate some false starts on their part and so forth. So we'll see how that all turns out, too. And looking at the Jets in particular, I think another really top 10 defense coming to town. The Vikings have faced top defenses the last 3 games with Dallas, New England, and the Jets, all top 10 defenses. The Jets rank 6th in total yards, 8th against the pass, 34 sacks. It's going to be another big challenge for the Vikings offensive line, who I thought had maybe their best game of the year, one of their best games of the year. Kept Cousins fairly clean, only 1 sack. Matthew Judon, the leading sacker in the NFL, no sacks in this game. Had a couple of pressures, but generally speaking, did not make the game-breaking play against them. But they're going to have to watch out for Quinnen Williams, who was a top 3 pick last year, excellent defensive tackle. He's going to give Ed Ingram and Ezra Cleveland and Garrett Bradbury inside all they want to handle. But I thought those 3 guys really played well. I thought it was one of Ingram's best games, and Bradbury, who quietly is having a very good year when he was really kind of under pressure this year to perform after some lackluster performances last year. So we'll see what happens with the Jets. Some other games around the league that were interesting to me yesterday. The Browns beating the Bucs in overtime. Mm-hmm. The Bucs, AJ, they're leading the NFC South with a 5-6 record.
Leading is a very generous term there.
Yes, it is. And will be interesting if that perhaps could be a team the Vikings could match up with come playoff time. But they're probably going to win the division because it's so putrid. So they probably won't see them. I think it's more likely that maybe they run into Seattle first round, because the 49ers look like they're emerging out of that NFC West, and they're going to be a force to be reckoned with come playoff time. They got a lot of talent in that football team. The Eagles beat the now 4-8 Packers 40-33. Jalen Hurts running wild, rushing for a team record for a quarterback, 157 yards on the ground last night and throwing for 3 TDs. Aaron Rodgers left the game with an oblique rib injury. So we'll see if Jordan Love, who actually played pretty well, I thought, in his quarter or so of action, had a nice touchdown pass to Christian Watson. We'll see if Jordan Love gets to start this week now that the Packers are almost out of it. But then again, they may figure, well, if we run the table, we might be able to get in at 9-8. So Rodgers has played through pain before, but he was really in pain last night.
Do the Packers ever miss at quarterback? It seems like they just have a Hall of Famer after a Hall of Famer after a Hall of Famer. And now this guy shows up, and in the very limited stuff we see, he looks great.
Yeah, we thought that they had missed on Jordan Love.
Yeah.
But maybe not.
Yeah.
Early on, some of his preseason appearances, he looked putrid, but he definitely, I thought, played well with the game still within reach for the Packers on Sunday. So the Bengals beat the Titans in Nashville, a rematch of their playoff game last year. So, meanwhile, the Bengals will host the Chiefs this week, an interesting game. The Bengals are now tied with the Ravens for first in the AFC North. The other interesting thing this week, Deshaun Watson has been activated now. Unfortunately, which I hate to see him back on the field after all the sexual assault, sexual harassment allegations against him and all the settlements of his lawsuits. He served his 11-game suspension, and he is scheduled to start in all places. He's starting in Houston, which I kind of thought that was bad form on the league's part to set that up. But I guess anything for ratings.
Yeah, right.
Just kind of crazy. But I would have liked to have seen Deshaun out for the whole season after everything that was going on there. So we will see what happens. The Vikings host the Jets this coming Sunday at noon at U.S. Bank Stadium. It's the third of the 3-game homestand. And we will be back next Monday with our next show on Jeff Diamond's Purple Report, brought to you each Monday during this Viking season by your select Minnesota Buick GMC dealers on 1500 ESPN and available 24/7 on YouTube via the links from 1500 ESPN and Score North websites. I'm Jeff Diamond with AJ Fredrickson, wishing you a good night, and we'll talk to you next Monday after the Vikings and the Jets.